to my 10th and final show co-hosting. Over the 24-hour time period, we are visiting every time zone on the planet, and we've had some amazing guests already. So we're more than halfway through, started in the UK, went across to Brazil, throughout all of North America. We just hit New Zealand in the last episode, and now we are in Australia. And I'm Kate Holmes, host of the Innovating Advice podcast, and my co-host on this show is Head of Platform Experience at XY Advisor, Emily Blanche. Hi, Emily.
Hello, Kate.
It is fantastic to have you. I know you've got some amazing morning sunshine coming in there. A bit cooler where you are. We're approaching 42 Celsius, about 110 degrees here in Las Vegas, but you're all bundled up with winter down there.
Yes, quite the opposite. I grabbed one of my biggest jumpers this morning. So yes, I'll let you soak up all the sun and the warmth for me, please.
Yes, I will. Emily, thank you so much for being part of this. When Adam Owen at NextGen approached me with this, and we were talking about how can we bring together the global community, and I was thinking, all right, we've got NextGen planners in the UK, and then I instantly thought of XY Advisor in Australia, and I called you, and then we've got XYPN in the US, and we had Director of Member Services, Maddie Roach, co-hosting with me on an earlier episode. And it's just so great to see the abundance mentality of younger advisors and planners all over the world, knowing that we are absolutely in this together, and as XY says, driving the positive evolution of advice.
Oh, absolutely. Just seeing the levels of collaboration and idea sharing and really championing that we mentality instead of an I mentality. It's just going to allow everyone to progress at a much quicker rate. And really, when one person wins, the community wins, and really the entire industry wins. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be learning a bit more about XY Advisor on the next show. We've got one of the co-founders, Adrian Patty, is the guest there. And just to do a bit of a shameless plug, we've also got Emily on my podcast, the Innovating Advice podcast, this Thursday. So you can learn a lot more about Emily's story and so many cool things going on at XY Advisor.
Love it. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. So throughout the 24-hour global commute, there is a fantastic charity element raising money for great organizations. So we've selected two in the US, raising money for Quad A, the Association of African American Financial Advisors, and Color of Change, both in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. And the team in the UK, lots of great financial planners have been doing incredible charity challenges throughout the 24 hours, a lot of physical challenges wrapped up in the last few episodes. We got to cheer them as they crossed their finish line, even if it was a static finish line. They just did amazing things, rowing the equivalent of the English Channel and climbing the equivalent of the highest peak at home on stairs, cycling an Ironman challenge. So really impressive stuff. Raising money for CF Warriors, helping kids overcome cystic fibrosis, and the Stroke Association. So we're encouraging everyone to dig deep in their pockets. We really want to see the global community coming together, raising money, not only for these organizations, but wherever you're at in the world, and whatever charities are important to you, your family, and your clients. Feel free to reach in your pocket, make a donation, and let us know what that is. Even if it's $5, £5, anything and everything helps if we all come together. So let us know, and we're keeping track of all of that. And we'll chat a little bit more about that later on the show. But Emily, what do we have coming up now?
Yes. So on this show, we will be chatting to Adele Martin, a multi-award winning certified financial planner. She's also the founder of Firefly Wealth and the Saving Squad. And Justin King will be back with part 2 of his exploration of the Kinder method. But first, we have the news with New Model Advisor. And on this show, it is brought to us by James Fitzgerald. So hi, James.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Good to be here again. We'll start off with some Australian news this morning, which is rather apt, seeing where we are. So according to the latest APRA data released this week, a total of 16.9 billion has been taken out in early superannuation due to the government measures for those struggling financially due to the COVID-19 pandemic. For a bit of background, those who had successful applications for the scheme could choose to withdraw 10,000 Australian dollars out of their super in either one or two batches if they were struggling financially, one this year and one next. So quite a few people, it seems, utilised this scheme so far, which is controversial in some circles, people dipping into their super, but it has certainly helped people that have been struggling during this period. Now, because I can't help myself, we'll go to some sports news. And for those missing attending live sports, which I know I am, and good news for fans of the Australian Football League, and especially in Western Australia, from 18th of July, the WA government has greenlit up to 60,000 fans to be allowed to go to games in the Western Australian hub. So essentially all the teams, due to quarantine measures, are staying in certain areas of the country to stop the risk of spread. And they've just greenlit having full crowds again, which is amazing. It'll make the games a lot better. All the other states, however, will have to wait their turn, especially Victoria. Now, as Emily said earlier about the weather, it's a bit crisp there. Parts of Queensland are expected to experience their coldest day of the year this week, which is a bit unheard of, with some areas even told to brace for possible snow, which I haven't really heard of in Queensland before, but there you go. So a sudden cold snap rather across the state will send temperatures plummeting, with maximum minimum temperatures expected to drop even in Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast to about 6 degrees. So make sure you rug up. And that is the news from Australia this morning.
Fantastic. You covered news, sports, and weather. That was all of it in a short time period. And it sounds like travel to Western Australia is going to be on the rise as everyone rushes there to get to see live sport. So it'll be curious to see how that pans out. Certainly a lot of jealousy from all the places where that is not an option yet. And who knows when that's going to be coming back.
Very much so. There's going to be an uproar in the other states, and I'm fairly jealous sitting over in London, but oh well, can't have everything.
No, we can't. But even those, it'll be nice to see fans on TV. So,
exactly.
Nothing else, you at least get that. Awesome. Thanks, James. And thanks to the Model Advisor for bringing us the news. And next, we're going to Sean Banks from the Advisor Gap podcast, who's here to talk about the work he's been doing to help people in admin roles bridge the gap to become an advisor. Hi, Sean.
Hello, Kate. Pleasure to be on. Good morning, everyone in Australia.
Yes, and good evening to you. It's getting a bit late there in the UK, so thanks for joining.
Yeah, hence I look a bit weary at the moment, I think.
That's all right. It's the afternoon here and I'm getting a bit weary, but this is fantastic. So much good stuff going on here. So Sean, you host the Advisor Gap podcast. So tell us what prompted you to launch the show.
Yeah, sure. So the concept is my co-host James Mousley and I, we actually came up with this concept just a couple of years ago at the Next Gen Planners Conference in Manchester. And it was about we'd identified a gap in skills and experience for people who wanted to transition to become a financial advisor. So in the past, you may have been a salesperson or somebody who worked in a similar role within financial services, whereas nowadays people are coming through a more admin-based technical background. And so we felt that there is a transition there that's not really being addressed, where you have to take all the technical stuff that you've learned and be able to communicate it well to people. And so that's really what it's all focused on.
Awesome. So what is the essence of the Advisor Gap?
Gosh, I mean, I think what we want to do with the podcast is to just help as many people as possible as we can in our profession, just to take that step from where they currently are, maybe within a support role in a financial services business, to become that person who's leading client relationships. So that's, I guess, how we would define the essence of the podcast.
Yeah, and that's such a valuable thing. I mean, I actually started out on the operations side, and it was, through doing a lot of that admin work, that's kind of where I fell in love with it, and, coming up with systems and processes. And then I was like, how can we add efficiencies so that we're then spending more time directly with clients and ironically not on the admin side. So tons of great experience that, people on the admin side do get, and the things that they get to see, and that can really build up a great desire to move into that advisor and planner role. So you've recorded 2 seasons of the show so far. So what's next for the project?
I guess what's next would be a third season to come. So there, we really want to highlight and focus on people who are currently transitioning from a support role into the role of an advisor. And I guess we've got a couple of speaking engagements this year in the UK, and I guess the plan for going forward into next year is just to try and broaden our audience a little bit to maybe people outside of the bubble who would be tuning into something like this, for example. We want to broaden it out to the wider financial services industry.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that as you were talking, and I was thinking even potentially people not in financial services. I mean, I don't know how you can get there, but if you think even people in admin and nursing, they're like, hey, I've got the skills and I love helping people and working with people. That's a potential pipeline. All those social services, people that just have really great hearts, great desire to truly help people and have those deeper conversations.
Yeah, keep talking, Kate. I'm making notes as you go.
we can chat offline. No, I love it. That sounds fantastic. That's really exciting. So I'd love to see what you keep doing with that, and maybe have you on my podcast to talk about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. Emily, what do we have next?
All right. Thanks, Kate. And awesome, Sean. It was really, really great to learn a bit more about what you're up to. So I'm really excited to be interviewing Adele Martin. So again, multi-award-winning certified financial planner. She's also the founder of Firefly Wealth and the Savings Squad. So hi, Adele. Oh, microphone.
I think after all the Zoom meetings I'd done, I would have got that right. Hi, Em.
Awesome. All right, Adele, let's start by asking you to give our audience an idea of your journey to becoming a financial planner.
Yeah, well, I actually started in admin as well. So I think, to Sean's point, I think that coming from the admin role, when I look for employee advisors, I like them to have the admin background. So because they understand the importance of filling out the forms and paperwork. But yeah, I fell into it by accident. So I was doing an accounting degree because my parents or someone said that it was a good job and accountants always had work. So I did the accounting degree, and I realized very quickly, probably after the first tutorial, I put my hand up and asked the lecturer, is the rest of the accounting like this? And they said yes. And then I realized this is definitely the wrong degree for me. But I finished the degree anyway. It was just a painful 3 years, but I finished it. And whilst I was there at uni, I thought I just need to get some sort of experience in an office somewhere. And so I just happened to get a job as a personal assistant for a financial advisor. I had really no idea what financial planning was, but I just wanted a job in an office. So I was doing that part-time while I was at uni, and I could hear his conversations with the client through the wall. And that's when I realized that financial planning was very much, people first, and then money. And so it was very much also future focused. Unlike accounting, which seemed to be very historical, looked at what's happened, this was very much future focused and also had a very people focus. So yeah, that's how I fell into it, by accident.
I love it. And you're definitely not the only one. I've heard so many stories of people falling in by accident, but absolutely loving it and just thriving in it. So your focus is very much Gen X and Gen Y clients. Many businesses find it quite difficult to engage with the next generation of clients just due to the nature of the business model. So how have you approached serving these younger clients?
Yes. So I've had a foot in both camps. The last 6 years, I focused on Gen X and Gen Y, and I don't take on anyone else that is not in that space. But previous to that, I was probably like most advisors, and I worked with retirees. I actually owned a retiree, was a partner in a retiree practice. So I've seen the other side. And that other side, I would hear them say, I wish we saw it years ago. Why didn't I see it years ago? They now didn't have the health or money to do all the stuff they wanted to be able to do. And so that's very much the reason why I started working with Gen X and Gen Y, because I knew if I wanted to make a difference long term, I had to start with them, much earlier. So yeah, there definitely is a difference though between the two. I think my advisors, so one is more, I find that the older clients is really taking that fear away. Whereas younger clients, you are helping them create the future. And so it's very much more of an inspiration sort of conversation. But I think why most advisors struggle with it is you really need to articulate and show your value. And if you can solve a problem for Gen X and Gen Y or save them time, they have absolutely no issues paying, and they'll pay well. And so you really need to understand what problems you are solving for them. The other thing I'll say is, I was just chatting to Kate offline about this, is I think advisors still think that these millennials are young and that, but really when we look at statistics, in the next 5 years, millennials are going to make up 75% of the global workforce. So they're not a small demographic and they're not super young. And so I think we need to start, putting together, strategies that solve their problems. So their biggest problems may not be, investing money, because they don't have a lot often to invest. They've still got big mortgages. Their biggest problems are, money management. They tend to earn good money and they're not really sure, they feel like they should be doing better with their savings. Maybe they're sharing money with their partner and they're not sure how that works. Or very much that goals-based conversation. So they want to buy their first house, they want to start their family, they want to start a business, maybe they want to retire early, all those goals conversations. And so, yeah, I feel like if you can, articulate the value they give and solve their problems, they're very easy to have as clients and clients long-term. And so for me, when I started to add up, just the value that from the money management, so how much, they save from doing the money management, and how much, they save from some of the strategies that we do, like small strategies that make a big difference. All of a sudden, we're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of value that we've added. So, my fees look very cheap in comparison to how much value that we actually add.
Yeah, that's great. And what would you say is the most challenging aspect of niching your business in the way that you have?
Yeah, for me, the most challenging, I've thought about this, is that I've tried to do everything for the client. And so I made the decision that probably about 12 months ago, I wasn't going to do insurance. And I've sort of gone in and out of doing insurance for people and then not doing it. I just feel like that is a real specialty area. And when I try to do every bit, the investment bit, the strategy bit, the goals-based, the money management, insurance, when I've tried to do everything, I feel like it stretches me too thin. And so, yeah, we end up doing a, okay job of everything rather than a spectacular job. So, yeah, we have now partnered with another advisor who loves doing that part of the business, which lets us have more time, energy, and effort to focus on the things that we're good at, which is that strategy work, that goal setting work, that money management work. So, yeah, that was probably, the hardest thing I found, is trying to do everything for them.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Now, you have used technology to enhance your engagement with clients. I know you've got some really exciting things in the works. So can you tell us how you went about developing your My Money Buddy app? It's fascinating.
Yeah. So My Money Buddy is really, it's three elements to My Money Buddy. There's a training and there's a video element so people can learn. There's tracking, so we track their savings plan and their goals. And there's also a community element to a Facebook group. So there's three elements that go into the My Money Buddy program. But it's self-paced. People buy it online, they do it in their own time. So just had someone last night, they went to the website, bought it, and they will go through that at their own pace. It just concentrates on the budgeting side of money management though. So it concentrates on, helping them save. So yeah, we've had great success with that over the last 2 years. But what we are now doing, which is the next enhancement, My Money Buddy 2.0, is we're adding investments and strategy to it. So we are further enhancing it. So people will be able to do their own projections. So they can, see, what if I had a baby? What, had time out of the workforce? What if I only worked part-time? What if I, bought that new house? If I retired, if my income dropped because I started my own business? All those what if can I afford to questions, they can now model themselves. And so for me, they're effective creating their own plan. So I don't think a financial plan is necessarily useful when it's a 100-page document that sits in the drawer, because we know that life isn't static. We know that things like COVID happens and things like, life happens. And so it's always changing. And so I think a plan is a living and breathing document, and having this software that allows people to play with it themselves, I think is, super important to getting them, to take ownership of their plan. And so, yeah, that's the 2.0 version, which we're very, very close to launching. So it's expanded out even more. But yeah, it's not just, it's really a community element to them. It's really a people wanting to understand and do it themselves, which is a lot of what, Gen X and Gen Y want to do. They don't want to be told what to do. They really like a collaborative approach to things, and they want to understand it themselves. They've often done a lot of research before they've come and seen you. They've read a book or they've listened to a podcast. And so I think that's the most important thing, is you need to, approach it how they want to learn. They also don't want to learn it, 9 o'clock in your office or whatever. They want to learn it 7 o'clock at night or on the weekend. They want to do stuff when it's convenient to them. And that's what this program allows them to do as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And that really leads into my final question. which is around what do you see as the most important factor in creating high quality client engagement? I feel like you've almost touched on a few things there, but yeah, I'd love for you to elaborate on that a bit more.
Yeah, for me, I think it's all about the experience as a client. So sometimes I think we're so involved in it, we haven't actually stood back and thought about the experience the client has. So we want to try and make the whole experience frictionless for the client. But when I sometimes cringe when I see advisors that, you know, for brand new clients, they send them out this big fact find to complete. Like, let's make it easy for them. Let's make it frictionless. Like, you don't want to have to tell your whole life story before you've even, you know, had a decent conversation with them. So for me, it's always, I'm looking at how can we improve the experience for client. So, you know, traditionally a financial advisor would, you know, would see the client, go away, do the financial modeling, come back and show them the financial modeling. That's it. Well, I really think a much better way to approach that is with the client and actually doing it together and get the clients to play with the screen and really be, you know, engaged with it. So for me, that's a much better experience than, you know, going away, coming back and here's what you need to do. So yeah, I think we always thinking about how can we, you know, improve the experience for clients? What can we do? So one of the other things I think is really important when you're talking about connecting with Gen X and Y is communicate with a client how they want to be communicated with. So most of my clients, a large majority, Facebook message me. A very few email and even fewer phone. I can't even tell you the last time that someone actually phoned. And most of them will Facebook message me. So I think that is really important that you think about how they want to be communicated to. So yeah, they don't want to necessarily have to be on, you know, the phone chatting to you to get to you. And so yeah, I think that's is super important. That one of the things we do too is, you know, I like to send Loom videos after a meeting, you know, really personalized to the client. I think there's lots of things that we can do to improve the experience that the client has. So, you know, a quick summary to go with the SOA, that's a video rather than a long 100-page document. There's lots of things that we can do to really improve it. And so actually it brings me to something I'd love to talk about, Em, if I could have 30 seconds. One of the things, as you know, Em, I'm really passionate about is getting more people to seek financial advice. I've actually been in the industry for 20 years, I think, very shortly. So in a variety of roles, admin, paraplanner, advisor, owner. And so I've seen over that time what happens when people work with advisors long term. I know the benefits of financial advice, yet we know that throughout the world, most people don't get advice. So I think what we really need to do is do a better job of educating the public about what it is that we do. And so I know one of the best ways to do that is through social media, whether that's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or now TikTok. So one of the things that, you know, I'm passionate about is raising the awareness of financial advice and the need for people to get advice. And so we're kicking off, Em and I are together, kicking off a 30-day social media challenge just for financial advisors. So every day for 30 days, I'll be giving a tip about exactly what to post. And you can post it on wherever you like. If you want to do it on LinkedIn, you can, Facebook, wherever. But the idea is that we all do it together. So we're going to have hundreds of advisors doing this to really get some momentum, to really get it out there in the public about, you know, the good news stories, you know, from that advisors do. So yeah, we kick off on the 1st of July. There's still some time to join. It's not quite 1st of July yet. And we'd love to have some international advisors join us as well. So yeah, if you want
we've
to
already
join,
got a few.
Oh, excellent. So yeah, if you want to join, you are welcome to. Em, I don't know if you've got a link so you can share somewhere, or just message me at adele@delmartin.com. But Em might have a link. But we'd love to expand that out and really have you know, more momentum to change that conversation, to get more people seeking advice.
Well said. Well said. Well, thank you, Adele. Really appreciate that. And Kate, I will send it back over to you. What do we have next?
Awesome. Thanks, Emily. And thanks, Adele. And thank you for what you're doing and taking the time to put together a free 30-day social media challenge. I was actually chatting with Emily about it yesterday and chatting about how important it is for advisors to get involved and do that, because I've just interestingly had a number of conversations with friends over the last few weeks that have no idea that there is anything available other than large corporations that manage your assets and sell products complex. They've never heard of people that have these deeper conversations and they don't know what financial planning is. And so I was like, yes, we need people to be getting out, get it on your personal Facebook page, get it on your personal Instagram, because there are so many people that just don't even know how many amazing people all over the world are there to truly help them use money as a tool to live their best life. So we're going to head over to Justin King of MFP Wealth Management, a host of the Retirement Cafe podcast. He was on the last show as well. So this is part 2 of a 2-parter, shared an incredible story with us. I know the shows are being recorded, so I'd encourage you to go back and listen to that. And we're going to be diving in a bit more into insights on the Kinder method. So Justin, for those that aren't familiar, can you start by sharing what some of the questions and the methods of the Kinder Institute are?
Yeah, certainly. So thanks for having me back, Kate. And yeah, so the Kinder method, it's about deepening client relationships, really. But my insight is behind every financial question, there is an emotion. There's something deeper behind every money question. And most people come to a financial planner or a financial advisor around a money question. That's my experience anyway. I've been doing this for 30 odd years, and they'll come to talk to me about their retirement account or their whatever it may be. And I want to uncover what's the purpose. What is the purpose of the money? What are they really trying to achieve? And this is not about a bucket list. This is about some deep, authentic dream of freedom. Who is it that they were? If you were, I don't know. Let me just direct this at you, Kate. If you were, just imagine way, way, way in the future that you were sat on a rocking chair on a veranda with the sun coming down and. For some bizarre reason, I'm there as well. And we're sitting there and we're just going, you know what, that conversation we had 30 odd years ago. Wow. Wasn't that amazing? What an amazing life that you've just had. How rich, how fulfilled, what sense of community that you're part of, what an inspiration you are to your peers and your family. What close-knit relationships, what wonderful opportunities you've had in the arts and in music and in creativity. Wow, there's no stone uncovered in your life. Wasn't that just amazing? That was just, how would that be for you?
Absolutely amazing. That's what life is all about. And too few people ever actually experience that because they don't have those conversations until they're sitting there on that rocking chair wishing they did 30 years earlier.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So we have an amazing opportunity as financial advisors, and we have spent, in my experience, I've spent an inordinate amount of time becoming amazingly qualified, exam after exam after exam. And Sean was talking earlier, he's doing a great job helping people make that transition into financial planning, but it is still very focused on passing exams. And I get that. I do get that. We've got to be technically capable and competent of what we do. But remembering that behind every question, behind every financial question, there's an emotion. The reason we're buying life insurance is because we're trying to protect our family. What is it we deeply care about, that the family that we want for them, that we yearn for them, that we want them to do? And is there other things that I often find in financial life planning that what we're really doing is that we're creating a priority order of the things that need to be attended to. And these things generally are not, they're not money questions. They are family, they are community, and they are arts, they're entrepreneurial spirit. They're often, as I say, creative stuff, often community stuff. And my dream of freedom is that if you can imagine that each one of us, advisors listening to us, let's say that we managed to life plan 100 clients each in our lives. Wouldn't that be just amazing? And the 100 clients were then living inspired, authentic, community laid lives, that they were rich and they were feeling fulfilled on a daily basis, not without challenge, because life is with challenge, but actually feel a sense of purpose. And if everyone amongst our communities was living lives like that, how much peace would we have in our communal lives? I mean, I can't see that the angst and the aggro that we observe around us at the moment would be there, because we would be serving our communities, we would be helping people and helping them achieve what we want to do. every financial advisor I ever meet, and luckily I don't know what it is, but I don't seem to meet these bad ones. I mean, I know there are a few knocking around the world who seem to do a bad job, but the people I hang out with, they care desperately and deeply for their clients' lives. They want to serve them well, and that is they cut them in half. Most advisors I come across, their clients' names are written through the middle. You know, they really do want their future success. And they may guide them into the greatest investment products and the greatest retirement accounts, etc. But if you could help guide them or sherpa them up the mountain and back down again into that dream of freedom and fulfillment, so they got to that rocking chair at 85 and just went, wow, wasn't that amazing? And you could be part of that. And that's what I believe that we teach in the Kinder Institute, is we teach these skills, these deep, authentic skills. We teach planners to live authentic lives themselves, inspired lives themselves, and then be able to pass that wisdom on to clients. And not to teach clients how to do it, but to guide clients into a rich vision of a wonderful future.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And, you know, like I said, that there have been a number of people I've talked to that didn't know there are advisors out there that will have these deeper conversations. I've also had a number of advisors reach out to me over the last couple of months and say, hey, I just joined and I joined a big organization, and the advisors themselves have no idea that there are, you know, these deeper conversations and life planning and, you know, really helping people have that amazing feeling when they're 85 and all the way up to 85. So it's also about getting the word out to those people, because I think a lot of them, there are unfortunately still a few bad apples out there, but that happens in every industry. But there are still so many advisors that just don't even know that this is a path that you can take. So Justin, can you share, you know, one or two stories of some of your most memorable experiences with clients of using the Kinder methods?
Yeah, certainly. You know, a lot of the time, clients are slightly embarrassed about their deep-seated goals. You know, they say, "Oh, should it not be bigger and grander?" You know, that I want to, you know, build wells in Africa or something. And because most of the time, it comes out with some really, really simple but beautiful statements, which is, "I want to have a more authentic relationship with my daughter because it's broken down. I want to be physically fit enough to be, you know, around for my grandchildren because, you know, I have some regrets about being the father I was because I didn't get to do the time and what have you." So that it's a realignment of priorities mostly. Clients off the back of the conversations have written books. They've moved abroad. They've done amazing charitable things. But it's actually sometimes the simpler stuff that suddenly they've kind of gone, you know what, I've attended to that now. And because I've attended to that and I've created my priority order, that I'm now living my authentic life. I'm now living and doing what I wanted to do. So mostly it's about relationships. As I say, lots of time clients pick up, they start playing the piano, they start drawing, they start finding that thing that they loved to do when they were children. And because of the complexity of life and the busyness of life, etc., that drifts away, and then that re-emerges. So they do write books, they do poetry, they do go to more music festivals, they do listen to more concerts, they do travel, but again in a very authentic way. And I think it's just a rediscovery of who they truly are. You know, I honestly believe we are in an unbelievably unique position. We're not therapists, we're planners. And clients have an absolute need to come and see us, as we were just hearing about, that, you know, to get their financial house in order. But actually to be deeply listened to and get their life priorities aligned with their financial priorities. That no one else can do this. And what is the quite unique thing that we do is that there's a scenario, advice is telling a client what to do. You know, we're advisors. We tell you how to operate in the world because we're going to tell you. And there's an element of clients coming to us expecting that. And we just need to bring it back and just kind of go, hold on, we need to meet you. We need to meet you because we're going to walk together on this path. And then we're going to find out what's truly going to inspire you for that rocking chair conversation at 85 and that amazing life. And we're going to be here along that path all the way. so that when you need re-energizing, when you need refocusing, when you need help re-establishing exactly what's important to you, when some things in life come in the way that you weren't expecting, we'll still be here with you to align your money against your life goals. And if we see you getting out of balance or not true to yourself, we can just go, knowing how important that was, what can we do instead of what you're currently doing? And just guiding that client into those great coaching conversations and being a partner rather than an advisor in life.
Yeah, definitely. And Justin, last question. Do you think advisors and planners that, we talk about the technical knowledge, and then, if you did Kinder Institute or coaching or something like that, having the knowledge is one thing, but do you think planners that haven't turned inward and done that work on themselves and asked themselves those questions about, what do I want my life to look like? And am I balanced and experiencing mental, physical, emotional, financial well-being throughout my life? Do you think they can still be as effective with these conversations, or is it important to do that work on yourself first?
I think it is important to do the work. Every time we do traditionally it's been a 5-day Evoke course that we teach at the Kinder Institute. You do a 2-day and then a 5-day, and the 5-day is in essence teaching advisors how to do financial life planning. But of course, the way we do it is we turn it around and we get life planners to life plan themselves or their peers, and you see them unfold. It's a very much like a unpeeling of an onion, and you get layer after layer after layer, and you get down to the core, and you go, wow. And they leave inspired, but they inspired for not only for their own lives, but also the inspiration that they can deliver into other people's lives. So having that opportunity to have that, but in an authentic environment where you can unfold, it's hugely beneficial. I'm not sure. I can't do this to myself. I can answer George Kinder's questions, and I do them regularly, and I uncover different answers regularly. But I get coached myself. One of my co-trainers, Louis, he's the senior trainer at the Kinder Institute, coaches me and my wife. And again, it's a facilitated conversation. It's not something that I've found that I'm able to do on my own.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Justin. Thank you for being with us on the last show, sharing your hero's journey. Like I said, for those that haven't been able to catch it, you can go back and watch it when that recording comes out. Justin, thank you for being on this show as well. Really appreciate having you.
My pleasure, Kate. Thank you.
So now we're going to cross over to the UK and check in with Financial Planner by Day and 24-hour Extreme Crafting Challenger by, well, I guess it is night. So we'll go night. Gretchen, how's it going? And how is that painting coming along?
It is night here now, so it's 11:05. It's dark outside, and it's like the longest days, isn't it, right now here? So really, I'm gonna have only a small window and it's this dark. But yes, so I have painted Adam, but I don't know what he's gonna think. And I've deliberately done it in this style because if anyone watched Grayson Perry do his amazing art show during lockdown, he had Joe Lycett, who's a guy is famous in the UK. He painted Chris Whitty, and I've done it in the same style, Adam, and I hope you'll appreciate it. I'm considering that was like 40 minutes. I'm even quite impressed with myself. I hadn't done any portraits or any painting for years and years and years until lockdown. So I'm enjoying it.
That's awesome. Well, I think it looks fantastic. And even if you didn't tell me that was Adam, I would have gotten that instantly. And I love the color and it's just very happy. I think it's fantastic. Well done, Gretchen.
Thank you.
Gretchen, I think it's awesome as well. Thank you so much. And I think you've made me look younger. And, I can't complain at that color. That's brilliant.
Excellent. I'm pleased you like it.
That's wonderful. So Gretchen, do you want to do, since it's my last show, one last call for people to dig in their pockets and share why you're doing this 24-hour crafting challenge?
Yep. So there's been all sorts of challenges going on, people doing physical challenges, and I've been doing a craft or art piece every hour. I've clearly got some hours to go, but I think, what's that, 14 now? Maybe 15. So it's all for, in the UK, we're doing this for the Stroke Association, or CF Warriors, Cystic Fibrosis Warriors. And yeah, if anything you can donate, we'd really appreciate, because we haven't had a target yet, so we're really, really, really keen to do that. So yeah, I will continue with my list.
Yes. And you're going to be up all night. So you're going straight through the night. You're going to keep going. Follow Gretchen on Twitter to see all the amazing things she's done. The links are below and in the chat. Like I said, if you want to donate to the Stroke Association or CF Warriors in the UK, or Quad A, the Association of African American Financial Advisors, or Color of Change to support Black Lives Matter in the US, or, as we mentioned earlier, any charity or organization that's near and dear to your heart. And then please let us know, truly, even if it's only $5, could you imagine if 100,000 advisors around the world all gave $5, the impact that makes on the world? So thank you to everyone that's supporting. We've been tracking donations coming in, so connect with one of us on social media or send us a message. And Emily, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Kate. And I love it, Gretchen. That painting looks amazing. So our next show is at 11:30 UK time. We'll be chatting with one of XY Advisors co-founders, Adrian Paddy, and Dominic Colenso is returning with the next installment of his Presenting with Impact series. So thank you, Kate.
Awesome. Thanks, Emily. And this is going to be me signing off after 10 hours, 10 episodes from presenting duties for the 24-hour global commute. But again, I want to give a huge, huge thanks to everyone at NextGen, especially to Adam Owen, who is staying up and producing every bit of this show, making everything happen in the background for the entire 24 hours. And I think he has a full day of duties tomorrow. So not sure how he's going to pull it off, but still looking amazing. Thank you, Adam, so much for being the brainchild behind all of this. And I will then be back at 8:30 UK time for the final wrap-up show, where we're going to hear how amazing the charity challengers have done, all the money we've raised. And for the next episode is NextGen founder Adam Carolan, joined by co-host Jenny Ellis, and lots more amazing guests over the next 9 or 10 hours. So continue to stick with us. I'm going to take a little nap, but then I'll be back and tuning in for the rest of the shows. And thank you so much. Great to have you, Emily, and bye for now.
Just before we go, Kate, I think on
Yes.
behalf of everybody at NextGen Planners, there's been huge love for you coming through the chat all day long, and just a consummate professional. So I think we should give you a great big round of applause. Thanks very much, Kate.
Thank you. Honestly, it has been my absolute pleasure. What an amazing way to bring the global community together, to raise money for charities, to hear from so many experts. I have been energized all day long. So many great people all over the world. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.